Okay, let's give it a few moments. Hello guys, hey everyone. Just give us a few moments so everyone can join in and we'll start very soon. And okay.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Okay. Okay, let's give it a what is it? 2 2 p.m. Okay, let's give it a 3 minutes and we can dive in. I'm going to also let the community know that we are live already. Perfect. Okay. Okay, good. So I guess just last second, I'll just got disconnected for some reason. Yeah, perfect. It works perfectly. Okay, so I'll probably just start and people will join in throughout the webinar. Hopefully they don't
Sure.
miss anything important. So hello guys, welcome to another live stream. And today we've got a special one as we feature JV, our new performance coach at Yield Markets. If I'm not mistaken, you've got more than a decade of experience in trading. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct, Jake.
And he prepared a really good webinar for you guys that you can learn something besides charting, technical analysis, fundamental, the usual stuff. Something that's uh, at the same level of importance in trading. I'm not going to say more. I'll leave it to JV. And with that, I think I can pass the mic. But if you have any questions throughout the webinar, just leave them in a chat. And at the very end, JV will answer them whenever it's about trading psychology, something you struggle with in your trading. Just message us in the chat and we'll get to them at the very end of the webinar.
Fantastic. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Jake. Thank you so much for that presentation, for that intro. And good afternoon to everybody over Europe. I'm very glad to be participating here with E8 as a performance coach. This is a great opportunity. And we're going to start diving into this webinar that is called The Ultimate Trading Edge, the new
JV, just a
path.
second. Your screen is not sharing, just so you know.
Okay.
You need to,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. 1 second here. It was sharing a minute ago. Is it sharing now?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
Perfect.
Sorry about that, guys. So the webinar is called The Ultimate Trading Edge, the new path to trading mastery. Um, Probably you've heard about um, this person. Today, I want to talk about an interesting story, right, about trading. And we're going to start off with that. Bill Hwang, you probably don't know him. Many people have heard of him, many people don't. But even though he managed billions of dollars and made some very bold trades, right, most people never heard of this guy. He came from South Korea, worked his way up at Tiger Management, a very successful hedge fund, and then started his own fund called Archegos Capital. Probably you've heard of it. And what makes his story super amazing and crazy is just how much money he made, but the way he did it, right? And how actually it fell apart in one of the biggest financial crashes in recent years. So this is a trading story you will remember, and then you will understand why we're beginning with this story, right? So, how did he lose everything, right? Because at the end, that's what happened. So, around March 2021, his entire portfolio disappeared almost overnight. How big was it? Well, I'll tell you in a second. You'll be amazed. Well, this trader used something called total return swaps. And I don't want to get too technical here. It's not the case, right? But basically, he was borrowing money from banks to make his investments bigger, right? Without actually owning the stocks, the underlyings, right? So, well, something that in my opinion would be rather risky for most, right? But that's a way he was scaling up that also gave him a huge leverage, something like probably 5 times his actual money, right? That was already, too much, or was already in the billions. So his approach worked well in bull markets, of course, until guess what? Of course, it didn't. And when some of his big investments start falling, right? Banks asked for more money than he couldn't pay, and banks sold off his positions, causing, of course, prices to drop even more. And what happened? Of course, the result, you guessed it, big banks lost over $10 billion. Archegos completely failed, right? And well, Bill Hwang's personal wealth disappeared basically in days, right? So what do we have here? Uh, a trader that has or had exceptional skill, right? He possessed remarkable trading talent and market insight. Um, so he was definitely not missing that part as a trader. He had impressive knowledge. He had access to the best data and analytical tools in the world, probably, and he had spectacular wins, right? His Archegos fund grew to manage billions in assets. Guys, this was a trader that started with nothing, and somebody's taking him probably, a few thousand, a few $100,000, and then he grew that into a few million, and then into hundreds of millions, and then into billions. So this is a spectacular, spectacular trajectory until it wasn't that, right? Which turned out to be a catastrophic loss due to emotional mismanagement, overconfidence, and of course, excessive leverage that led to the collapse. So if I ask you this, right? How big is your biggest loss so far, right? And you're probably going to be like, oh my God, I lost $2,000 last week, or $50,000, or whatever. Let me tell you, right? For Bill Hwang, he had 20 billion and lost it all in 2 days, guys. So he went from billionaire to bankrupt in less than a week. This shows that even successful, very successful traders can fail when they take too much risk and put too much money in just a few things or a few investments, right? But not only that, to me, this is also an incredible story about overconfidence and the complete loss of sight of what really is important here, right? It's not important about, we're not talking about the 20 billion or the trajectory of this person. What do I mean by that? Well, let me tell you. If I asked 100 traders, or if I asked everybody on this call what the most important thing in trading is, probably 95% of them, or 95% of you guys would say risk management, right? Almost everybody would say that. And let me share again. I don't know what's going on. It's taking me out. Okay, there you go again. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
No,
We can
sorry
see
about
that.
that. It just popped me out. Anyway, so if I asked you guys, you would say definitely risk management. And I would probably agree. However, I think that is not the most important thing in trading. To me, and as a performance coach, I can tell you, self-management, not risk management, self-management is paramount to anything you do in trading. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, guys, right? But before we continue, I just want to stop for a second here and share just a quick bio of myself. There we go. Okay. I'm a performance coach for E8 markets, right? I have over a decade of trading experience. I started trading options, believe it or not, then moved to Forex, and then currently doing futures. I love the three markets, especially options and futures are, very fast moving markets. And but I definitely would say that my heart right now is in futures. And just so you know, when I started out, like, a while ago, many years ago, imagine that you have to wait about 9 or 10 months to get your first lesson on technical analysis. That's how we used to do things back then. I signed up. I signed up for a course, live, like a seminar, and they started talking about fundamentals, and then they started talking about options, and it was a seminar that was like 3 parts, and from the first one till the one that's the last part of it, it passed like 9 months. And right at the end, on the last day, the last 2 hours of those three seminars, I had my first technical analysis lesson. So imagine right now, with all the information that we have, it's just so different. However, I'm on a mission to build world-class traders and elite performers. That's what we're doing here. Some of my strengths, I would say: financial expertise and critical thinking. And my vision, well, definitely forge traders who can thrive under pressure, execute with precision, and lead with confidence. So I want to ask you, that's me. I want to ask you and continue with this simple question: who really makes your trading decisions, right? And I want to address this first because, number one, trading is the business of making decisions, right? I once heard this from a good podcast, and I was like, oh, I remember I was in the gym and I heard it. And I was like, that's so accurate. That's right. It's the business of making decisions. And when we're trading and deciding what to do, what markets to trade, what strategies to use, how much risk to put on, all those things, we believe it's our minds that are doing the job, right? It's our brain, right? Correct. However, that is not always the case. In my opinion, when you trade, your emotions, your biases, even your body, and all those outside influences play a big role. I don't know why it keeps popping me out. There you go. Play a big role. Where was I? Yeah, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, guys. Play a big role on what you're doing in all your decisions, right? Whether you are aware of it or not. So the real question is, are you really in control of your decisions? Or are you being led by fear of failure or your bad habits at managing risk, right? Or maybe what other traders say? I don't know. To be a good trader, in my opinion, you need to know what's going on in your mind and also in your life. Yes, guys. Context is a big deal in trading. And right, I've seen like probably just one or two people over the entire, across the board talking about this. Probably no one is talking about context and your life's context to make money in trading, right? But even top traders, even when they make decisions based on hidden factors and not just setups, they understand it is how you feel, your daily life events, and even how tired you are, how well you slept last night, right? Can change, all those things can change how you set risk and how you perceive the markets at any given time. And the best traders know these things, that they know that these things affect them, and they create rules to make sure they follow their plan as they should, right? So in a nutshell, we have your conscious mind taking decisions or making decisions, which is your analytical thinking and strategic planning, right? Probably most people are talking about it, or the ones that talk about trading psychology and stuff. They talk about these things, and some of them talk about emotions, how to treat trading with fear, greed, hope, regret, and 20 or probably half a dozen more, in that things that influence your choices. Of course, emotions are a very big part in trading and performance as well. Of course, there are other people that know a little bit more, that talk about unconscious beliefs, those hidden patterns and beliefs about money, self-worth, how you see yourself, how you see failure, how you see success, all those things that probably not too many people are talking about, that because it's just probably going too deep and it's a lot of work, to be honest with you. And of course, external influences that nowadays play a big role in how people trade, right? All the other traders, all these social media platforms, right? others' opinions, even your family, your friends, your significant other, and of course the social pressure, right? So I would like to ask you again, who really makes your trading decisions today? And why I'm asking this? The reality is that when things are not going well in trading, right, people might think that more knowledge, a new strategy, a new setup or model, a new YouTube mentor, or even a completely new market might be the answer. Is it? Right? Is more trading knowledge the answer? And I'm sure you can relate to the number of times you have jumped from one strategy to the next, from one market to to another, right? From this mentor to that other one over there. And I mean, I've also done that, right? This is not my first rodeo. I've done that as well, right? I've been here for a while, and it is exhausting. You get confused, and it's totally and completely unnecessary. And still, traders go through that, and still they do it. Why? What are we really looking for? I don't know. Well, having good technical or fundamental basis is definitely and absolutely necessary. I agree. However, why do I keep seeing traders that know a lot and can still make any money? Right? Because, in my opinion, success is often sabotaged not by lack of knowledge, right? But by the trader's internal state. Wow. What do I mean by this? What does that mean? Right? Let's talk about the trader's internal environment and the hidden secret behind profitability, as I call it. Guys, let me tell you, trading is not only about numbers, right? And risk management and A plus setups and liquidity and fair value gaps and stuff like that. Trading has more to do with things like mental resilience, which is the ability to remain calm under pressure. Let me ask you, how able are you to remain calm under pressure on other areas of your life outside trading, right? Have you ever thought about it that way? Another one, focused attention, seeing what matters, ignoring the irrelevant, right? And what probably no one is talking about, a regulated nervous system, which is maintaining physiological, not psychological, physiological, which is your body, physiological balance and high quality energy. Guys, this one here is the big one. Almost no one is talking about this in trading. Why? Well, let me share this again. This keeps popping me out. Well, because I would say almost everybody focuses only on the money, the strategy, the discipline, the account size, other traders, right? Things that honestly are mostly irrelevant for a high performer. By the way, did you know that the top traders in the world believe that money is not that important and they regard trading as a game? True. And maybe you think I'm being blasphemous here, and you're like, "Wow, JB, what the hell did you just say?" Yeah, but trust me, when you have seen enough of it, and you know where you stand, you also start believing those things and thinking about trading this way. And there's also something that is completely destroying and undermining your trading, guys. Can you guess what it is? I'm sure you kind of know. Yes, the distraction epidemic. Let me read to you some of these, the nasty, almost offensive numbers. 80% attention loss, which is pretty much everybody, using their phones during sessions. And I wish it was just, using your phone with your trading platform and that's it. But it's not the case. We have, other 20 different things or 30 or 100 different things on our phones. And we're doing, this multitasking thing all the time while we're trading and making decisions and watching 4 different markets with 3 different monitors. Guys, that's insane, right? Another one, a little bit about 7.2 million trading videos in YouTube, right? I think it would take us, what, Jake, I don't know, 30 decades to watch them. It's just impossible. It's just ridiculous number, right? 150 plus daily notifications, which is the average alerts traders receive during market hours, right? I was actually thinking the other day, do we really need notifications? We have our, our phones glued to our hands all the freaking time. Do we actually need notifications? I would just argue about it. And the worst, probably the worst one, 45% drop in decision quality by just multitasking. What am I trying to say here, guys? Right? Um, if we were if we are in the business of making decisions, right, and the environment is definitely not conducive for us to make good decisions, why would your trading efforts be any good, right? Or better, why do you think your trading should work? It shouldn't, right? And even if you're profitable right now, fantastic, congratulations, right? How can you make sure one day you're not going to be so distracted or so bored or so overwhelmed to throw your trading plan out the window, right? And over leverage and just blow up, right? It means, I mean, it happens to you. It has happened to me. It happens to guys with $20 billion funds, right? The thing is that our brains were not designed for this, right? This environment is crazy. And if you feel identified with that right here with this thing, you're definitely swimming upstream. But wait, right? Somebody's going to say, hey, George, JV, what's up? What about trading psychology, right? That is the answer. There's a ton of books on the subject. Let's let's talk about trading psychology. Sure. Okay, let's talk about trading psychology. Read all the psychology books you want. There are very few good ones out there anyway. Not all of them are good. And even those good books won't spare you from your worst mistakes. Trust me. Which are those mistakes? The ones that are completely subconscious and pre-programming your mind and your body. The body, yes. And we'll talk about that in a minute, by the way. So, what does trading psychology say anyway? And I'm sure you've heard it a ton of times, 100 or 1,000 times. Be disciplined, be patient, follow your plan, stick to your rules, think in probabilities, right? Sounds familiar? In other words, what is this? What is this telling you? Use your intellect to follow rules, stay calm under pressure, understand your emotional drivers, regulate your stress, control your impulses. Really? Really? Who thought in the first place our brains would be capable of doing all of that at the same time? Guys, listen. When your intellect is completely hijacked by your emotions because you over leveraged in front of a CPI release and now you're down 20% in your account in just a couple of minutes, you really believe you're going to be able to think in probabilities all of a sudden? No. Let me keep sharing here. Okay. No, absolutely no. Your nervous system is completely running the show now, and you're at the mercy of your most basic impulses, just trying to survive. Sounds familiar? Right. To me, all those ideas are just obsolete, right? That are otherwise saying that you need to force your way into productive habits, efficiency in your execution, and smart risk management just by using your intellect, your thinking. Guys, that is insane. That is insane. And that's why trading doesn't work for the vast majority of people. They don't even know what's going on under the hood with themselves. And yes, of course, your intellect might be very powerful in understanding all of those concepts, right? Intellectually. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you already might know most of them, right? But guess what? You know you should stay calm, right? You know you should not move your stop. You know you should let your profits run. But unless your nervous system is trained and regulated to do so, you won't do it. Why? Because discipline and patience, right, can never truly be honed with your intellect, with your head. It just doesn't work like that. And guys, this is huge. I even dare to say it should be the new paradigm. What is that? That trading is a performance activity. What is this exactly? And what does that mean? That trading is an embodied experience and not just an intellectual pursuit or with intellectual knowledge. Meaning that trading cannot only be a mind game, as many call it nowadays, the game of trading, the mind game of trading, right? Or a math problem with numbers. It's way, way much more than that. And guess what? In EA Markets, we have been working on something really, really special for you guys for over a year and a half, actually. Something that, in my opinion, will completely change the scope of how things are done, especially in the prop firm industry, right? So, drum roll, please, Jake. Yeah, I used to be a professional drummer. That didn't came out really well. Anyway, let me guys introduce to you the Trading Performance Mastery Program. Guys, this is not another mindset seminar or psychology course, and of course, definitely not a technical analysis workshop either. Okay, the Trading Performance Mastery Program. It's a trading enhancement system of 8 modules, and let me quickly walk you through this. These 8 modules are designed to walk you through all the aspects of trading that I could think of in a very structured way, but also organically, right? The first module alone is thinking, which for many would be more than enough for a complete program. I know. Working on things like your vision, your purpose, your goals, and also things like your self-image, the growth mindset, um, the winning attitude, the things that really, really, will make you think differently. And most people, when they're talking about trading psychology, would stop there. Okay, now you know how to trade. Go away. Well, we have another set of things. We didn't stop there, right? We're going far deeper from the perspective that as humans, we not only think, right? We think, do, and then make decisions and do things, right? We think, we feel, right? And we behave, we do things. That's why the first 3 modules are set up like that. With modules 2 and 3, including some really nice, cool stuff, like groundbreaking stuff like interception. Probably some of you have heard of this concept. It's not that new, but it's definitely new in this arena of prop trading. Flow in trading, how important it is to really experience flow in trading. We were talking about the other day with Jake and Joel about how people can increase their capacity for getting more size in your account or for putting on more size in your trades. Well, experiencing flow is one of the ways. And when you manage different flow states, you can increase, right, your size by increasing the capacity of your nervous system. Did you know that? Most people don't, right? And also things like dealing with uncertainty from the physiological perspective, not the psychological and the thinking, the physiological, because risk is felt when you're putting on risk in a real trade with a lot or 10 lots or 100 lots. I don't care. You're feeling it, and that's what really matters. So that's what we're working with here. Let me continue sharing my screen. Okay. So anyway, really, really good stuff in here. So followed by 3 modules that will teach you how to plan your trading activities. Here in module 4 plan, we're going very nitty gritty with technical stuff, right? Like definitely, like let's call it universal concepts about trading, about liquidity, about support resistance. We're not teaching you how to trade. We're not teaching you technical analysis. We're assuming that you have the basic stuff done. But let me tell you about plan. This module will teach. This module will teach you the essentials of trading. If you want to trade with moving averages, or you want to trade with stochastics or Ichimoku or smart money concepts, whatever you want to do, this basic universal concepts will definitely help you, right? And this is just one module. And not also that, we're going to teach you how to plan your trading, right? The trading plan that everybody talks about, and also to plan your business, your trading business, right? And then we're going to move to track, right? People always talk about, journaling and tracking your trades and doing all this post write-ups when you're trading and you have your chart and you make annotations and take a screenshot. We're going to go through that with systems, not only because, uh, uh, just to tell you do it, but we're going to use systems to teach you how to do that, right? At the same time, you're going to elevate your practice, to elevate your practice activities, right? Such as reading price and creating the most productive habits, not only to perform under fire, but also to study the markets, right? Most people don't know how to study the markets, right? If you're studying a price move, guys, I can't, and I kid you not, believe it or not, I can keep studying a price move in the 1 minute chart, like a 5 or 10 candle fractal in like 1 hour. I freaking love it. Right? I sometimes I could say that I spend too much practicing my craft, but it's because I love it. Right? You don't have to go through that. We'll teach you the best practices, so that you can really thrive in your habits as well. And finally, the last two modules that are meant to first connect you with like-minded people and help you understand the importance of effective participation with other traders under the right environment and conditions. This is just not another Telegram chat group in which everybody's just harding stuff and sending charts. No. This is very leading edge, let's call it that way. It's going to blow your mind. E8 participate, it's really going to blow everybody's mind, because we're going to be able to connect you with like-minded traders that are just probably 2 or 3 steps ahead of you or 2 steps behind you, and you're going to be able to help them, and you're going to be able to be helped with by people that are really crushing it and that have very similar goals than yours, right? Top with a module that includes an archive full of powerful trading concepts, book reviews, articles on human performance, and even trading philosophy, right? For those that when, it's like they want to really think things and they want to go deeper, blah, blah. We have all that for everybody. So as you can see, this is a comprehensive system designed for serious traders. This is just not for for someone that wants to spend a couple of weeks watching some videos and, brush it off. No, this is for serious people. Who are these guys? People that have made an important decision in their lives. And what is this decision? To become a professional trader and eventually an elite performer, right? So let me show you just a comparison. So if we were to compare, right, the old way versus the trading performance mastery approach, I would put all of this in the list of the traditional approach first, right? Which is probably what you're doing right now, reading books about trading psychology, watching videos on emotional control and whatnot, knowing what you should do and actually never doing it, intellectual understanding without any integration, lots of unorganized technical knowledge, many strategies and many models and many systems probably, some information about trading psychology, scattered information about your own performance, right? Let's share this again. Sorry about that. And isolation and lack of proper tools for improvement, which is also a very big one, versus the trading performance mastery approach, understanding context for decision making. Guys, even if you have a fantastic setup right in front of you, if you had a fight with your girlfriend or boyfriend or wife or your spouse that morning, you're probably not going to make the best decisions, right? And the other way around is also true, right? If you feel great, if it's the best day of your life and there's no setup and the market is just chopping you off and you wouldn't over leverage because you feel great, you're not going to get much done. You're actually going to be in a drawdown, right? So understanding context for decision making is paramount. Nervous system training exercises. This is fantastic. You guys are going to love it. Real-time emotional management practices. What to do if you're, for example, a scalper, what to do if you're in a drawdown, if you're, if you accidentally over leveraged, you didn't use a stop and the market's going against you, right? And you're panicking. What to do with, your emotional control, how to do it in real time. Also, embodied experience that becomes automatic, right? Anything that you can do unconsciously, it's the best way to go about it. Have you heard of unconscious? Um, oh, I lost the word. Sorry, but it's unconscious performance. What makes you really, really do things well. Also, structurally optimized technical knowledge, right? Deep understanding of behavioral challenges and discipline. Real-time tracking on decision making and performance, right? So that you know exactly what you're doing and the things you're doing, how they're affecting your progress or they're hindering you from your success. And true connectivity with traders that share similar goals, right? So this is, head to head what we have, here. So let's continue. Whew. So if you think about this way, about it this way, there's a big difference between knowing and doing, right? And I would call it the difference between knowing, knowledge and mastery. And the idea here is to go from knowing to becoming. Imagine there's 3 layers to this, right? And we're inviting you to go all the way until you become who you really want to be as a trader. And this is how. First, you're watching and consuming, right? Passive consumption of trading content and disjointed information. This is probably the vast majority of people are here, right? Just filling up your head without a real sense of direction. You're going to move to doing the things that matter and learning, just practicing new information with internal and external context aligned, right? Which means developing a deep understanding of your real motives behind the way you currently trade and address all the things that make you undisciplined, impatient, and disorganized to finally start behaving and becoming, right? Which is embodying the identity and personality of a professional trader. And guys, this is the stage in which you don't have a doubt you have become a professional trader and you act as one, regardless of the circumstances, the account size, and also the money in your pocket. I've seen great professional traders that, are trading with $50,000 accounts. And I've seen very, I wouldn't say, but very bad traders that are trading with $7 million. So it doesn't matter. The money you have in your pocket doesn't make you less professional or more professional, right? Well, anyway, it's pretty transformational stuff, guys. So put another way, you will go from information consumer to professional trader, right? First, with the content overwhelm that we all have right now, and most people have with endless indicators, conflicting strategies, information paralysis, and constantly searching for the perfect system that doesn't exist, right? And you go through this by developing a personal integration, just filtering what works for your style, right? Building your system, your strategy, and developing confidence in your analysis and decisions to finally get to professional execution, which is consistent process, emotional regulation, strategic patience, and real world excellence that produces reliable results. JB, what is strategic patience? Well, patience is not about the waiting. Patience is about the planning, right? Victory loves planning. So when you know that, and then you understand that patience doesn't come, or it's not about waiting, it's about planning, then you're all, sorry about that, then all of your ideas about and your conceptions about patience automatically change. And you're like, oh, so I don't have to be waiting and be, bored or anxious about waiting for this setup to come. I have a frame of mind and a very specific frame of work in which I know when is the most likely for this setup that I'm looking for to appear. So you will actually forget about being patient. You will need to be patient. Actually, I almost end like n- none of the time I think about patience unless I'm writing a winner and I'm on the last part of the winner, and then you have to write like it's really difficult. Actually, Paul Tudor Jones would say that someone that something that that no one can ever teach you is how to trade the last part of your winner, right? It's really difficult to hold on to winner or to just let it run or to ratchet your stop. It's really difficult. However, strategic patience is not about willpower and those things. Forget about those things. It's about planning, right? So anyway, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you know. It is how much you apply and how you do things what really counts. As the late Bob Proctor used to say, and I love this quote, success is not about doing certain ways or certain things. It is about doing things in a certain way, right? It's doing things in a certain way. That is success. So, who is this for, right? On one hand, of course, we have the aspiring, sorry, the aspiring trader, right? That's yearning for clarity and growth, right? To start by developing a clear path forward and stop wandering through conflicting advice and strategies, and gain a structured roadmap for growth, right? Then you can start developing strong foundations and build your trading career on solid psychological and technical ground. Avoid those costly beginner mistakes that we all make in the beginning of our careers, right? To finally exponentially accelerate your development and compress years of trial and error, right? In months of guided improvement and eventually reach profitability faster, right? Compress all those years that people sometimes spend 2 or 3 or 4 years to reach profitability even more, to compress it in probably in a few months. Some traders out there that are very, very committed and are, they have some talent and they're committed with their career. They have made the decision to become a professional and they really make the profitability to get faster in their lives and not spend 8 years or whatever, right? However, on the other hand, we know there's traders out there that have more experience and need this to cement their knowledge and get rid of those bad habits that are preventing them to go to the next level, right? So if you're a seasoned trader, right, and you're looking for consistency and peak performance, trading performance mastery is also for you, right? Why? Because you need a consistency breakthrough to transform occasional wins into reliable performance patterns, right? And develop a sustainable edge that could persist across market conditions. One of the things that I've seen most traders, even the most successful traders I've known, they're not aware that there are different market types and different market states. And when you're trading the same model or the same strategy in different market types or different states of the market, that's probably not going to work. And that's when back testing goes to the toilet and things like that make you really, really wonder about your trading career, blah blah. But when you, for example, right now the S&P is trading just sideways. They were just waiting for 8:30 news today, right? So if you are trying to really over leverage and press your trades in a market that's behaving like it has been behaving yesterday on Monday, you're just going to break yourself. You need to wait for the market, to give you the right conditions, and that's a big one. Also, emotional mastery and gain control over your responses during high pressure situations. That is professionalism. And eliminate the self sabotage that erases your technical advantages, right? If you have really great modules to trade, and if you are a good technical analyst, but you don't know how to apply that to your performance and to really make money on it, we got you. We can close what some call the behavioral gap, right? Some coaches call it that way. And finally, reach what I call peak performance, where you access your full your optimal trading zone and on demand, and unleash your full potential, right? And make your best trading days your new normal. So guys, think for a minute about your future trading self. Who you are now versus who you will become after the Trading Performance Mastery program. The present you, inconsistent results, emotional reactions, self-doubt, lack of clarity, just to name a few, right? Hopefully that's not the case, but for most people, at least this is what I see. The trading performance or TPM journey, structured growth, progressive skill building, professional development, very important, and sustainable profits, right? Sustainable profits. The future you, calculated risks, disciplined execution. You're not going to be worried about being disciplined. You're going to be professional. Professionals are disciplined regardless, right? Unless there's something really bad going in their context and their lives, and then they lose sight of discipline. But happens to everybody. Happens to traders that have been trading professionally for 20 years. That can happen to them. Absolutely. They also can blow up. I told you the story of a guy that blew up with $20 billion. It also happens, right? Emotional equilibrium, personal mastery, and financial freedom. Sounds good, right? And before we go and close shop here, I want to ask you a final question. How much longer will you delay your success? Think about it for a minute. How much have you left on the table just because you haven't found proper structure in your trading activity? Think about it. I'm giving you here a few seconds to ponder on that. Right? How much your lack of discipline, your impatience, and impulsive decisions are costing you right now? How much more you're willing to lose or not win? So I'm here to tell you that the gap between where you are today and where you want to be is completely in your hands. And I also can tell you that the Trading Performance Mastery program will transform your trading forever. Take my word for it. Take my word for it. I got the goosebumps. And guys, I know this is a bold statement, but trust me, after being in this business for more than a decade, and as a devoted student of the markets and finance as well, I can tell you this profession is tough and probably not for everyone, right? And for most people, will still be tough because unfortunately, let me share this again. Where was I? Yes, because for most people, will still be tough because unfortunately, most people believe they don't need help until they do, right? But when they realize how much progress they can have with just a couple of good structure ideas applied under a performance setting with the right direction and mentorship, they commit fully and they grow and achieve the unimaginable in record time. Guys, I've seen it, and it is absolutely transformational. And we want to help as many traders as possible to experience the same with us at E8. So I leave this decision to you, right? And with that, let me see where we're at here. I will tell you what the ultimate trading edge is, right? And probably you've guessed it already, right? The ultimate trading edge is you. It's not strategy. It's not a setup. It's not a trading model, right? It is not a mentor. It's not a system. It is you, and you're the only one that can unlock it. So I really hope you come with us and find out how to do it, right? Anyway, what's next? The program will launch in a few weeks, most likely by the end of July. We're working really hard and fast. We have a great team over E8 that's working day and night to bring you guys this amazing project. And you will get an invitation by email with the link to become a member. right? And also during the upcoming weeks, we will be sharing information across all the platforms that we usually do regarding the program's launch and other cool stuff about it too. The program also has really cool tools as well. We didn't actually have too much time today to talk about them. Probably we will do in some future webinar soon. It has great tools as well. Not only the content, but the tools are fantastic as well. We'll throw in maybe some giveaways too. I don't know, Jake is great with those things. So
Yeah.
definitely stay tuned for more. And guys, don't miss out. And to me, that's it for me today. Thank you all. Thank you, E8 Markets, and keep it in mind the Trading Performance Mastery Program. So thank you so much, Jake.
Yeah, thank you, JB, for the webinar. I enjoyed it. Hopefully, traders did as well. I'm very interested about the program. Looking for the launch actually. That's going to be a lot of insights for traders till we actually launch. But we've got a few questions from the live chat. So can
Absolutely.
we go one by one? I'll ask you, and you answer it as best as you can. So we help our traders who are basically just asked what people struggle with. And the first question, let me just
Absolutely.
open the chat. Okay, and the first one is asking, how do I totally eri- eradicate fear and hesitation from my trading? I always tell myself I'm not afraid, but I see myself being resistant when I want to place on a trade.
Yeah. Welcome to trading. um, yes. Fear will never go away, my friend. I've been trading for more than 12 years and I still feel it. And you will still feel it in the next 20 years. So get used to it. One already said that you can also find ways how to work with fear, right? Gradually. However, when fear is paralyzing you, like really, like literally, you can't, push the button on your mouse to buy or sell, whatever, um, you might want to start working on your beliefs. Sometimes, for example, there was this trader friend of mine that used to trade stocks, right? And then he overheard some other guy that was trading options, and was like, oh, maybe I just should look into options. And he was trading really small. I mean, he was trading 1 to 5 contracts in options. In the options market, it's 1 to 5 contracts. It's a very small, depending on the market, of course, but it's a rather small position. So they were asking this guy, "Hey, like, what's going on? You're a professional trader, right? And you can't hold to your trade when you're trading options." And he was like, "Yeah, I mean." And you could tell that his face and everything, his body language is like, yeah, I mean, the options. And so they start digging and they found out that at the end of the day, he believed that trading options was like illegal or filthy, or it was something that was not taking him anywhere. So he was placing a trade believing something from somebody else, right? Probably another trader that was using options in a very different way, and he was trying to hedge some kind of a position in a stock or something, but he was not really deep believing in his in the market of options. So he was not feeling well with it, and he was fearful AF on this market. So if fear is in your case really not letting you um, act or make decisions, regardless of I'm not gonna be fearful, I'm not afraid, what I would tell you, or what I would suggest, is just to let it in. Just feel it. Don't be afraid of feeling things, right? A couple of weeks ago, I watched the latest Mission Impossible movie. And as you know, this guy, Tom Cruise, does all of his stunts. And on an interview, he was saying something that really blew my mind, right? And he's been doing movies for 45 years. And he said, don't be afraid to be afraid, Man, that's so, that's that pure wisdom. So I would tell you, don't feel afraid, or don't be afraid to feel afraid. If you're putting up a position and you're feeling it, let yourself feel it. That's fine. If you're panicking, you're probably trading too big for your account size, right? If you have, $10,000, you're trading Euro USD and you're using 20 contracts, you're probably, you know, you're probably not doing it right, right? So if your position size is not the problem, you're still trading very small and feeling the fear, it's probably um, your unconscious beliefs. And we have a whole module on beliefs, a whole full 50-minute lesson on those things, and module one, by the way. But yeah, I would suggest that to this trader.
Okay, thank you. There's another question. Maybe I would skip this one and then I eventually return back to it. But this one is probably more not towards the trading psychology, but towards the trading. But I would love to hear your answer on it because
Sure.
someone is asking, how do I stop cutting my winning positions before the TP take profit? Because this is something that every trader struggle with,
Yeah, yeah, man.
closing it early, then probably the market goes all the way up to your TP. But sometimes you close it at the very best time because market might reverse. So how to deal with this?
Fantastic question. I love it. I love it because I talk to myself about it all the freaking time. Again, my friend, welcome to trading.
Yeah.
Not even the best traders know have a definite answer for this. And you can ask Paul Tudor Jones. As a, he has how much? $8 billion to his name. Anyway, yes, there's two different takes on this. On one side, we have the technical aspect of taking profits. You need to have a system or a methodology that's very, very, we could say, black and white, to which, to where you're going to take profits, right? If you're, for example, targeting a previous high or low, you're targeting liquidity basically, right? Even if it's internal liquidity or short-term liquidity, and you're targeting that and you're expecting the market to go further, there's two ways to go about this, in my opinion. You could either, let's say you're trading, 5 contracts, right? At your most probable target, you could take 60% of your profits, right? Or your position size, sorry. In this case, if you're trading 5 contracts, you take 3 out, you put break even, and you ratchet your stop and let the market run until it runs out of steam. That is one way to go about it. Another way to go about it, technically speaking, is that you could you could take completely the whole position of where the most significant liquidity is. That's another way to go about it. And other one would be, another technique or another style would be, as soon as you're, let's say if we're trading the S&Ps, for example, as soon as you're 10 points in profit, just go break even and let it run, right? However, even if you have those systems and those rules of engagement, as I call them, even if you have those rules in place and you're still, hesitant to where taking profits, it's probably something that's going underneath you, right? Like with a subconscious belief about, oh, the market is taking too much money from me and I don't want it to take more. I already have this $1,000 or 5,000 in my account on unrealized profits, and I don't want it to take it away. So I'm just gonna take it off the table. And then you see the market rip off another 40 points, and you're like, like
Yeah.
the things that traders say all the time. So those things happen all the time and happens to all of us all the time. So it's a combination, my friend. It's a combination with good methodology and market. You need hours and hours to really, really understand your methodology, and letting your profits run. It's probably the toughest thing to do for most traders, but letting your profits run and making sure that regardless you're going to make money, it's another way to go about it. And by the way, in module 4 E8 plan, we have a lesson dedicated to Fibonacci. One of the things I've seen across the markets, across all the platforms, and across all the, not the platforms, that I should say, across the markets. Fibonacci extensions are very, very accurate. And we have very distinctive numbers that we use. Of course, I'm not going to tell them right now. It's very technical, and I don't want to reveal them either. Many of you probably already use them. But there are very specific technical numbers that you can use, that you can find using previous retracements, that will teach you, or that will show you the like 80 to 90% probability of the market turning back. And I don't know if thousands, but probably a few hundred examples on this Fibonacci retracements and extensions that I can show you, so that you can be, you know, in peace that you're getting your money off the table at the right time. That's
Yeah.
what I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's do another questions.
Sure.
Before we dive, I would just like to say that taking any profits is better than taking no profits. So, uh, yeah, I agree totally that it's avoidable. You can't just
Hmm.
know when market's going to reverse or if it's going to continue. It's just part of the trading. Okay, another question. Let's see. Yeah, this one is also good. Is there a common mindset trait or characteristics among traders who eventually scale up to billionaire status?
Scale up to what? Sorry.
A billionaire status.
What do you mean?
Like, is there a common characteristics among very successful traders who are becoming a billionaires? I would say that's the question.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. 100%. I said it in the beginning of the presentation. Self-management, man. And also very important, and probably you're never going to hear it in YouTube. Environment. Environment is everything. If your trading buddies or your friends are laughing at you because you're trying to become a trader, man, you need new friends. And that's what we're going to do in E8 Participate, in the 7 module. We're going to put you together with people that are thinking like you, and that want the things that you want. Man, I've seen people go from broke to, having a few 100,000 in their pockets in just a few months, just by, not by tweaking their trading, just by association with the right people and the right mindset. So what I've seen across the board with people that are successful, and very successful, not only in trading but other disciplines as well, in business, or or a profession like, lawyers, or doctors or whatnot, they're very they're very careful with their environment. And not only, I'm not talking about, like the environment outside, I'm talking about the things that are happening in your life right now, the energy that you give and take, the people that you talk to, the way you speak every day, and also the way you speak to yourself, right? Self-talk. We have a complete lesson on that in module 1, actually. So yeah, definitely self-talk is a good one. Other traits, yes, disciplined people, and they keep their word to themselves. If I say I will be here at 10 a.m., I'm going to be here in time 5 minutes earlier, right? And I'm not going to break my word. If I said last night, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 6:20 a.m. and I'm going to go to the gym, and I wake up and I don't feel like it, I do it. Guess what? It is when you don't feel like doing things when they really count. And that's what most people don't say about habits. When you feel like, oh my gosh, I said I was not going to eat this donut or donuts, and you have this beautiful, glazed donut right in front of you saying, hey, come eat me. That time, if you can refrain yourself from doing it, that's when it counts the most. Not when you're like in the gym and saying, okay, like I won't eat crap today. No, no, no. That doesn't matter. It's when you're uncomfortable and you make the right decision that really counts and that really moves the needle. When you're comfortable and cozy in your bed and watching YouTube or Netflix or whatever, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to be this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this and do that. Guys, that doesn't count. It's when you're uncomfortable and in front of the actual challenge that really counts, right? When you keep your word to yourself, and when you say that, when you actually do the things you said you were going to do, and not to the people and not to the other traders, to yourself. Just that. It doesn't matter if you're trading, if you have, you know 20,000 hours on ICT concepts, or you're trading with a, with a 8-day EMA only. It doesn't matter. If your mind is right, and if you keep your own word, you're going to do better, even if you're just using, an EMA and nothing else. Okay. So it's about
Yeah.
behavior. It's about behavior.
Okay, I've got two very good questions.
Go ahead.
The second one is mostly from the live, but the first one is, what was the one belief you had to destroy before you your success truly began? Yeah, like, is there something that you had that you needed to destroy in order for you to move forward and become a successful trader?
Um, yes, absolutely. And that's probably one of the hardest ones. Um, by the way, this belief, I read it from on this book. I'm not promoting anything. It's just a good book, right? And it's not from that guy. It's actually from Paul Tudor Jones, that says, every time I put on a trade, I assume I am wrong. I read that book, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know. Anyway, I read that thing and I closed the book and I said, F this, man. That's not true. It's that strong to me. I was mad. I remember I was mad and confused, and I was not feeling well for like 2 days. Like, how can you put on a trade and assume you're wrong? F that. No way. But then I looked, and Paul Tudor Jones is a billionaire, right? It's one of the best traders ever. I was like, okay, let me think about this. This is probably 2021, 2022. I'm thinking about this again, right? And then I heard an interview that they did with Larry Williams. If you guys don't know what Larry Williams is basically ICT's mentor, right? And the one trader that has, I think it's 11,000% return in 1 year on the futures trading contest, the trading cup, in 80 something. No one has ever touched that record. Anyway, in one interview, he said, every time I put in a trade, I assume I'm wrong. And I was like, what? How come? Like, this happened probably 2 years ago. What? Again? No. So my mind was like, and I was like, man, they're probably right. Why? What if? And then I started from moving, to get rid from trying to get rid of that belief, and just explore the option of getting rid of it by saying, what if I believed this is true? What if? I'm not forcing myself to believe something I don't believe, but I'm saying, what if? So I started trading under that assumption. I'm just gonna trade this, of course, with a strategy, with high probability perspective, with a setup. I'm just not throwing orders in there. I was just trying. I was trading my things, right? But I was assuming I was wrong, and man, that was so freaking liberating. That completely changed the game for me. And you know what? Because I let go. I let go of the need to be right. And that's what, if you read the book Pitbull by Marty Schwartz, fantastic read. He was struggling, not for one, not for two, not for three, not for 9 years. He was not profitable for 9 freaking years.
It's a long time.
One day he sat on a table with his wife, and the wife said, what are you going to do? And he said, I am becoming a professional trader and I need a plan. And in the spot, he started writing, right? And you know what? The first thing he wrote on his book of rules, right, which is very very basic actually, or very essential. The number one thing: do not let your ego interfere with your trading. In other words, give a, you know what? Don't give a about being wrong. Let yourself, be wrong as many times as you can. It's fine. And then guess what happened? He started making s ton of money. He started making a great deal of money. He became very successful multimillionaire and trading champion, right? So
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's just that thing that made him very successful. He's a very hard worker. You can tell. 14-hour days with trading back in the 80s when we had to do everything manual and everything. It's a different story, but yeah, it's definitely those beliefs. Just a very simple tweak in your code that can completely change everything. And
Mhm.
guess what? We have a complete lesson on that in module 1. In module 2 as well, physiologically speaking. So it's very transformational.
Okay,
Anyway,
and the last one before we end the live stream, probably this one's going to be short. Also, guys, we are going to ask JV to answer some questions on almost every live stream. If we join us once we discussing markets with Ken at the very end, you can ask the questions. We will forward it to JV. He will answer it to you guys, so you will find your answers on the YouTube channel. And the last question is not about mindset on trading psychology, but I would love to know your stand on this. And this person is asking, currently I'm struggling with timing. I have other activities during the day and I usually find my setup gone already, or I enter trade early and go, how do I sort this? Meaning, when you're mixing your job with your live trading,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, those early beginnings when you cannot afford to stay home trade, should he save the money and then give it a few months, like trading actually, or just to continue trade during his uh, pretty busy daily schedule? What would you say?
Fantastic question. A very straight answer. I don't know what markets this guy's trading or this trader is doing, right?
Mhm.
I don't know what markets are there, or what markets he likes, or what time zone he is in. I would say start trading markets that are very um, easy to time. In other words, for example, in my experience, the Euro USD, GBP USD, markets that are very easily, it's very easy to find high probability windows to trade those markets. So if you can um, if you can work your way up to making a schedule for you for your trading, let's say you have, you know, 90 minutes out of a day to accommodate trading in your life because you have work, you have family matters, you have, I don't know if you have kids, or you have probably working 2 jobs, or I don't know, I don't know your circumstances. However, let's say you have only 60 minutes. Try to find those 60 minutes in the high probability windows for these markets when they move. For example, the Euro USD, it moves really well. I'm talking New York time, between 6 and 7 a.m., right? And then between 8 and 8:45, right? And then between 9 and 9:30. Those are the windows that for me in the past have worked, right? There's a very beautiful setup that forms for a return to fair value between 9 and 9:20, pretty much every day,
He
right?
just said that he's
So,
trading the only two instrument, which is GBP USD, so pound
well,
dollar and gold. So
gold.
uh,
Okay,
yeah.
gold is a different animal, and I've tried to trade it. I was trying to trade it last year, and unfortunately, it didn't go well. To me, gold is really wild. I mean, I've seen traders do crazy things with gold, and God bless them. They're probably very good with it. I traded gold, and to me, it's crazy animal. So probably my take would be, or my suggestion would be, to start off with one market, GBP/USD. Time your calendar with a news calendar. See where the news drivers are coming out, and trade after those, right? So try to accommodate your schedule to find the high probability trades for the retracements after the news releases. That's probably a good way to start off finding trades. And also, let me tell you, from a more conceptual way of thinking, less is more in trading. Even if you're, a day trader or scalper, if you're taking 12 trades a day, taking 6 trades a day, it's better than doing more, right? Even if you're a swing trader, you're doing 3 trades a week, taking 2 or taking 1 trade a week is better. Because if you only had one shot, as the song would say, if you only had one shot to take 1 trade during the week, let's say you're more of a swing trader, right? Assuming you keep working yourself with GBP/USD, and if you just have one opportunity to trade during the week, I would suggest to wait for a high probability window between New York time, again, Monday afternoon and Tuesday lunchtime. If you can accommodate those 2 times for GBP/USD, and I'm giving you like very, very specific advice for this trader anyway, but this is just an example. If you can accommodate your work times and your other, commitments with life, and trade only of those times, I kid you not, you will find a very, very good trading opportunity that you can let run after being, let's say, 35 pips in profit, go break even, and just let it run. And we'll probably do better that way than trying to forcing yourself to find trades when you can trade. That's never going to work. If you try to trade when you can, and you're not aware that there's a timing in the markets, and then you're not aware that there's high probability windows in the markets, then man, it's going to be really, really hard for you. You're just going to go upstream all the way. So that would be my take.
Okay, thank you, JV. Also, thank you guys for asking the questions. As I was saying, on almost every live stream, you can ask us, and we will deliver to JV, then back the answer to you on our YouTube videos. So thank you for watching the webinar. There's more webinars coming. If you want to, you can follow JV on Instagram. It's Vara, I think. Yeah, Vara. He will basically announce any upcoming webinar that he will have with EAD Markets till we launch the program. So yeah, I think we've covered what we needed. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for asking the questions. And you will see JV very soon on another webinar, most likely.
Absolutely. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much, Jay. You do fantastic work here at E8, and thank you all. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, take care, guys. Best of luck trading.
Peace.